Is reconciliation a good goal, even if not always possible? To whom do we need to be reconciled? Let's look at 2 Samuel 14. Did Joab plan to talk David into allowing Absalom to come home? Meanwhile, Zeruiah's son Joab knew that the king's attention was focused on Absalom. So he sent messengers to Tekoa to bring a wise woman from there. He told her, "Please play the role of a mourner, wear the clothes of a mourner, and refrain from using makeup. Act like a woman who's been in mourning for the dead for many days. Then go to the king and speak to him like this." Then Joab told her what to say. When the woman from Tekoa spoke to the king, she fell on her face to the ground, prostrating herself to address him. "Help, your majesty." The king asked her, "What's your problem?" "I've been a widowed woman ever since my husband died," she answered. Did the wise woman tell a story in some respects similar to that of David's 2 sons? "And your handmaid had 2 sons, and they 2 strove together in the field, and there was none to part them. But the one smote the other and slew him. And behold, the whole family is risen against your handmaid. And they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him for the life of his brother whom he slew, and will destroy the heir also. And so they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth." And the king said to the woman, "Go to your house, and I'll give charge concerning you." Did the woman speak in a similar wise manner to Nathan the prophet regarding Bathsheba and Uriah? And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, "O my lord the king, the iniquity is on me and my father's house, but the king and his throne are guiltless." So the king said, "Whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and he will not touch you any more." Then she said, "Please let the king remember Yahweh your God, so that the avenger of blood will not continue to bring about ruin, and so they would not destroy my son." And he said, "As Yahweh lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground." Was the woman actually pleading for Absalom, David's banished son? Then the woman said, "Please let your servant speak a word to my lord the king." And he said, "Speak." The woman said, "Why then have you planned such a thing against the people of God? For in speaking this word, the king is like one who's guilty, in that the king does not bring back his banished one. For we will surely die, and are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up. Yet God does not take away life, but makes plans so that the banished one will not be cast out from him. Now then, the reason I've come to speak this word to my lord the king is that the people have made me afraid. So your servant said, Let me now speak to the king. Perhaps the king will perform the request of his slave. For the king will listen, to save his slave from the hand of the man who would eliminate both me and my son from the inheritance of God." Then your servant said, "Please let the word of my lord the king be comforting. For as the angel of God, so is my lord the king, to discern good and evil, and may the Lord your God be with you." Did the woman finally admit that Joab had set her up to speak to the king? Then the king said to the woman, "Don't keep from me the answer to what I'm going to ask you. Let my lord the king speak," the woman said. The king asked, "Isn't the hand of Joab with you in all this?" The woman answered, "As surely as you live, my lord the king, no one can turn to the right or to the left from anything my lord the king says. Yes, it was your servant Joab who instructed me to do this, and who put all these words into the mouth of your servant. Your servant Joab did this to change the present situation. My lord has wisdom, like that of an angel of God. He knows everything that happens in the land." Did Absalom return home? Was he famous for having a lot of hair? The king said to Joab, "Very well, I'll do it. Go bring back the young man Absalom." Joab fell with his face to the ground to pay him honor, and he blessed the king. Joab said, "Today your servant knows that he's found favor in your eyes, my lord the king, because the king has granted his servant's request." Then Joab went to Geshur and brought Absalom back to Jerusalem. But the king said he must go to his own house. He mustn't see my face. So Absalom went to his own house and didn't see the face of the king. In all Israel there was not a man so highly praised for his handsome appearance as Absalom. From the top of his head to the sole of his foot, there was no blemish in him. Whenever he cut the hair of his head, he used to cut his hair once a year because it became too heavy for him. He would weigh it, and its weight was 200 shekels by the royal standard. 3 sons and a daughter were born to Absalom. His daughter's name was Tamar, and she became a beautiful woman. Did David refuse to see his son for a long time after his return? And Absalom dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem, but didn't see the king's face. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would not come. So he sent his servants. "See, Joab's field is near mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire." And Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom's house and said to him, "Why have your servants set my field on fire?" And Absalom answered Joab, "Look, I sent to you, saying, 'Come here, so that I may send you to the king to say, Why have I come from Geshur? It would be better for me to be there still. Now therefore let me see the king's face. But if there's iniquity in me, let him execute me." So Joab went to the king and told him. And when he'd called for Absalom, he came to the king and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king. Then the king kissed Absalom. What's a general principle of reconciliation that Jesus taught? So if you're presenting a sacrifice at the altar in the temple, and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, leave your sacrifice there at the altar. Go and be reconciled to that person. Then come and offer your sacrifice to God. Was reconciling the whole world to God the whole mission of Jesus Christ? But all things are of God, who reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ, and gave to us the ministry of reconciliation, namely that God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself, not reckoning to them their trespasses, and having committed to us the word of reconciliation. Is reconciliation a good goal, even if not always possible? To whom do we need to be reconciled? You decide.